What's going on, boxing fans? Julian Williams here at the distance. I got a prediction for you guys. Um, this one I've been pondering about for a while. Sergio Latin Snake Mora versus Sugar Shane Mosley. Matchup takes place this Saturday on HBO pay-per-view. I'm gonna go see it in the movie theater with my brother, and I think it's gonna be a great card. To be quite honest, I like how that card looks. Four really good fights. Ortiz versus Harris, Alvarez versus Baldemir, and Escalante versus De Leon. And the main event is this matchup. This matchup has a lot of question marks. Um, One of those question marks being whether or not Shane Mosley can still compete at that elite status. Number two, the other question is, can Sergio Mora perform on the elite level, on that level of Shane Mosley? So those are a couple questions that need to be answered with this fight, or will be answered with this fight. And anyway, onto the fight. I'll start off with Sergio Mora. Sergio Mora has a victory over the man that defeated Shane Mosley almost 10 years ago, who's Vern Forrest. But I think there were two combinations that a mixture of two things that won the fight for Sergio Mora. One of those things was his awkwardness, and number two is the fact that he was underestimated. I do believe that Vern Forrest underestimated him coming into that fight, but he had these awkward, subtle movements, and it got him on the inside. Got him on the outside, but his subtle movements were effective. His movement kind of reminds me of the fight between Joe Louis and Jersey Joe Walcott. Just that awkward movement. He doesn't necessarily have. He has good footwork, as in he knows how to position his feet well, and kind of maneuver around the ring very well, and he knows how to work off of that, and make make his opponent I want to say a little wary of what they throw and how they throw it, because that movement provides a lot of space, it provides a lot of angles, and it leads him to fighting on the inside. And in this specific fight, this is what he's gonna have to do against Shane Mosley. He has advantages in this fight. One, I think he's just as fast as Shane Mosley. He's bigger than Shane Mosley, and he's younger than Shane Mosley. So I think in a way, he's the fresher fighter, despite the fact that he did come off of a long layoff, which was like 18 months, because he didn't fight from Vern Forrest all the way to April. But then again, Mosley didn't fight for like 16 months. And, they're putting him back in the ring, very quickly. Now, in this fight, I think that Sergio Mora has to box. Shane Mosley has had trouble with fighters who are boxers. People are calling him the Mexicutioner. But Sergio Mora is not, is nothing like Oscar De La Hoya, Fernando Vargas, and Antonio Margarito. He boxes more. He doesn't go for the knockout. He's not willing to straight up fight. He's not willing to fight. So, with all those movements, the movement that he does, those subtle movements on the outside, Sergio Mora is a different type of fighter. And in this matchup, Sergio Mora is gonna have to get his jab off first. He's gonna have to get his shots off first. And when he moves, he has to create those angles, despite the fact that Mosley is pretty good at cutting off angles. It's kind of like he uses that movement to create space and create angles, to where he could throw his jab or throw combinations, and he gets his jab off very quickly. And along with that movement, if he wants to fight on the inside, he can use that subtle movement to get in. Because he kind of moves a little side, does a little side to side, and steps in. When the fighter misses and he comes in and starts throwing short hooks on the inside. really that's what he needs to do in this matchup. He needs to focus on boxing and not fighting. I really don't think this matchup will be much of a war. I think this could be. I think that Sergio Mora doesn't want it to be a war, but there's times he does get brave. But he just needs to focus on boxing, using the subtle movement, and maybe fighting occasionally on the inside. That's what Sergio Mora needs to do in this matchup in order to win. Shane Mosley, on the other hand, is going to be a lot different. Shane Mosley, I think one thing that's going to be open for Shane Mosley is the counter right hand. When Sergio Mora, sometimes he throws shots just to throw them, and he doesn't think before he throws. So when he throws sometimes he'll throw his left jab real quick and follow it up with a big right hand. And that, say he throws a right cross, that right cross misses by a mile at times. And when he misses, like a right cross or a short right hook, when he misses those shots, he's always open. The Shane Mosley counter right hand is going to be open for Sergio Mora, and not only will it be open, but it could land clean on his chin. And other than that, Shane Mosley also just wants to outpower Sergio Mora. He wants to outpower him. He wants to make this just a tough fight, and he wants to use his jab and pressure him to go to the ropes, because when Sergio Mora gets to the ropes, he just covers up and doesn't really throw back. He just covers up and doesn't, like I said, doesn't throw back, doesn't really do anything when he goes back into the ropes. But I think, being the veteran fighter, he has to use Sergio Mora's flaws to his advantage, and and like I said, cut off those angles, cut off the angles, throw the counter right hand, more specifically a counter right cross, and also just pressuring Sergio Mora, getting his shot. Like I said Mora has to get his shots off first. Mosley has to get his shots off first as well. But sometimes it takes the other fighter to throw more shots, or throw a shot at Mosley for Mosley to fire back. That's just the type of fighter that Mosley is. But anyway, my prediction for this fight, I'm really not too sure about this fight, to be honest. Fighters that have had Mosley's number of boxes, fighters that didn't fight with Shane Mosley. I could sit here, I could stand here, I could talk about everything that Mora can do and everything that Mosley can do. But I think about Mosley's past fights with fighters who don't fight with him. Sergio Mora has the tools to defeat Shane Mosley, but he has the flaws to get beaten by Shane Mosley. So in this matchup, I'm gonna go with Shane Mosley knockout late in the fight. And I'm still a bit undecided, but that's just what I came up with right now. I think Shane Mosley can knock him out late in the matchup, but I think that Sergio Mora has the ability to defeat Shane Mosley. So anyway, guys, that was The Distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.